There is a specific reason why you feel like you are working harder every single year, but your bank account barely moves. You save a little, you skip the latte, maybe you even throw a few $100s into the stock market. But when you look at your net worth, it feels pathetic. It feels like you are trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. Most people think the system is rigged against them. They think the only way to get rich is to inherit it, steal it, or get lucky on a crypto coin. But what if I told you that the system isn't rigged, it's just misunderstood? There is a mathematical phenomenon that explains why the first 10 years of investing feel like torture, and why the next 10 years feel like magic. Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of all time, accumulated 99% of his wealth after his 50th birthday. Think about that. 99% came in the second half of his life. It wasn't luck. It was a mathematical tipping point known as escape velocity. If you are currently stuck in the grind, feeling like your money is going nowhere, you are likely trapped in the valley of despair. But you are closer to the exit than you think. Today, I am going to show you the 3 specific net worth milestones where the math flips in your favor. These aren't just random numbers. They are the exact points where your money stops sleeping and finally starts working harder than you do. My name is Alex, and on this channel, we don't rely on luck. We follow the data. Let's decode the velocity of money. Here is the brutal truth about the human brain. We are wired to think linearly. If you walk 10 steps, you move 10 feet. If you work 10 hours, you get paid for 10 hours. So naturally, we assume money works the same way. We think if we save $500 this month, we should be $500 richer. But wealth building is not linear. It is exponential. Imagine you are planting a Chinese bamboo tree. For the first 4 years, you water it, you fertilize it, and you protect it. But you see absolutely nothing. There is no growth above the ground. To the outside world, you look crazy. You are pouring resources into dirt. But in the 5th year, something impossible happens. In just 6 weeks, the tree shoots up to 90 feet tall. Now the question is, did the tree grow 90 feet in 6 weeks? Or did it grow 90 feet in 5 years? The answer, obviously, is 5 years. If you had stopped watering it in year 3 because you didn't see results, the tree would have died. Most investors in the US quit in year 3. They open a brokerage account, they buy an S&P 500 index fund, and after 2 years, they look at the balance and say, "That's it? I sacrificed my weekends for this?" They sell. They buy a new car. They quit. They don't realize they were inches away from the first major tipping point. Let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the 3 milestones that turn that bamboo seed into a forest. Milestone number 1 is the most painful, the most boring, and the most critical step of your entire financial life. It is the first $100,000. The legendary investor Charlie Munger once said, "The first $100,000 is a beast TCH, but you gotta do it." He wasn't trying to be rude. He was being mathematically accurate. Let's break down the math for an average American saver. Let's say you are able to invest $10,000 a year. That's about $830 a month. And let's assume a conservative 7% annual return. To go from 0 to $100,000 takes nearly 7.8 years. Almost 8 years of discipline. 8 years of driving a used car while your friends lease new ones. 8 years of cooking at home. And here is the heartbreaking part. When you finally hit $100,000 after 8 years, roughly $78,000 of that money came from your own pocket. Only about $22,000 came from investment growth. This is why people give up. You look at the account and think, "I did all the heavy lifting. The compound interest barely helped." And you are right. In milestone 1, you are the engine. You are pushing the car uphill. The compound interest is just sitting in the passenger seat, watching you sweat. But you must reach this number. Because $100,000 is the critical mass. It is the foundation. You cannot build a skyscraper on a swamp. And you cannot build wealth without this first 6-figure block. Once you cross this line, the physics of your money begins to change. If milestone 1 was about survival, milestone 2 is about security. Depending on where you live in the US, this number is usually between $300,000 and $500,000. Remember how hard the first $100,000 was? It took nearly 8 years. But the second $100,000? That only takes about 5 years. The third $100,000? That takes 3 years. Why? Because now you have soldiers on the battlefield. At $300,000, a standard 10% market year generates $30,000 in gains. Think about that. $30,000 is a decent side hustle. It's a part-time job, except you didn't have to drive an Uber or answer emails to earn it. Your money woke up, went to work, and brought that cash home. This is the psychological turning point. This is where you stop feeling like you are throwing money into a black hole. You start to see that your portfolio is actually covering your biggest expenses. At this level, your investment returns could theoretically cover your rent or mortgage for the entire year. You aren't financially free yet, but you are financially secure. If you lose your job at this stage, it's not a tragedy, it's just an inconvenience. You have built a fortress. But be careful. This is also the danger zone. This is where people get complacent. They see a big number and think, I'm rich, I can buy the Tesla now. Do not stop. Because you are approaching the event horizon. You are approaching the point where gravity disappears. And now we reach the summit. Milestone number 3. $1 million. Now I know what you're thinking. Alex, $1 million isn't what it used to be. And sure, inflation is real. But mathematically, $1 million is still the magic number for velocity escape. Here is why. Let's say you are still saving that same $10,000 a year from your salary. You never got a raise. You never saved more. But now you have a $1 million portfolio. In a standard year, the market returns 10%. That is $100,000 in growth. Look at the difference. You worked all year to save $10,000. Your money worked all year to earn $100,000. Your money is now working 10 times harder than you are. This is velocity escape. This is the point where your personal contribution almost stops mattering. You could literally stop saving money from your paycheck entirely, and your net worth would still skyrocket. At this stage, your portfolio will likely double every 7 to 10 years without you adding a single penny. 1 million becomes 2 million. 2 million becomes 4 million. This is how the rich get richer. It's not magic. It's not a conspiracy. It's just that they survived the first 8 years of the grind to get to the point of velocity escape. So look at your own journey right now. Be honest with yourself. Are you frustrated because you are in year 3? Are you staring at a small balance, thinking it's pointless? You are just standing at the bottom of the mountain pushing the boulder. It feels heavy right now because you are doing all the work, but if you keep pushing, eventually, gravity takes over. Milestone 1 is the grind. Milestone 2 is security. Milestone 3 is freedom. You don't need to be a genius to build wealth. You just need the patience to let the math do its job. I want to know where you stand. Are you fighting for that first $100,000? Or are you closing in on velocity escape? Let me know in the comments below. If this video helped you see the bigger picture, hit the like button so we can beat the algorithm together. And if you want to master your money, make sure you are subscribed to Invest with Alex. Stop guessing. Follow the data. I'll see you in the next video.